A Music Introduction. This book covers almost everything about the fun, beauty, freedom, aesthetics, creation, and business of music and dance, including learning on your own, schools, jobs, and making money as an independent musician. It's for people who enjoy music and those who want to entertain others and make money within the music and entertainment fields. The 2013 documentary Breaking Los Angeles has musicians and managers talking about the industry. They say you have to be amazing. You have to draw a live crowd and have an online platform as in a website and social media presence. Los Angeles is the mecca of the music industry, not New York. New York City has a thriving music industry, but LA has the big music companies and the nightclubs around the Sunset Strip and the entire city. You go there to play live music and hopefully be discovered, managed, and made into a star. No matter how good you are always one fish in a big pond. You might have a better shot being a big fish in a smaller pond, like go to Seattle or Austin, which have big indie music scenes. The holy grail is commercial music, which is wide appeal. One song can make a lot of money if it catches the zeitgeist, as in the summer dance song for a particular season. At the same time, I heard several musicians talking about how the big record companies or their managers ripped them off, for example Billy Joel and the Bay City Rollers. Lou Pearlman, now deceased, ripped several boy bands off. It's a fine line. You do not want to alienate your manager or the record company by appearing too greedy, but at the same time, you got to see the money at the end of every show. Don't just trust the manager when he says I'm keeping your money in the bank for you. Demand payment after every show. Put the money in your own bank account. You'll know immediately if a check bounces. The other bad thing about music is that the fame doesn't satisfy. Music is a party feel-good field. Drugs and booze are all around it. Musicians tend to become addicts to deal with the pressure of performing on stage and the down part of being popular. It's normal to be hot then not. It's part of the scene. When you go down as a has-been pop star, many people cannot cope in a smooth manner. I was listening to Seth Gordon talk about all his musician friends who floundered. A lot of musicians are not stable, happy people. Some are. I just listened to some guy on CBC, Tom Powers, talk about his interview with Mick Jagger, now an old man. He says he's still the working class guy of his youth, unlike one of his band members who is a lifelong heroin addict. Paul Simon plays his music like it's a regular job he's been doing for 50 years. Is your music mainstream enough to be in TV commercial or in a movie? You can be independent, do it all yourself. Book gigs at clubs and sell your merchandise on a website. Big record companies don't pay much, but they have the infrastructure to market you. The big-time managers know people. They get a picture taken of unknown musician with a big star, then put the photo in magazines and on websites such that it gives the unknown some credibility. They use every trick in the book. There's a documentary called Supermensch, The Legend of Shep Gordon. He was a music manager all the way back to Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix. His first big client was Alice Cooper. I was a kid when Alice Cooper came out with the theatrical $1 Billion Babies show. Shep talks about the tricks they used to get publicity. Some clubs in LA charge musicians a fee for the musician to play there for the exposure. Club owners want people to show up. That's it. The bottom line is that you have to promote yourself and sell your own tickets. You can lose money if the costs are more than you bring in. You can't be a pure artist playing what you want unless it's what the people want. I see rap videos on YouTube with 100 million views. Young people, the people who support the music industry, think it's cool because it's marketed as the cool music right now. When I was growing up, they mixed easy listening in with pop and rock, so we had music like the Carpenters, early Bee Gees, Anne Murray, Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra, etc. mixed in with pop. That would never work today. It's techno-pop and hip-hop. By the time people are 30, they don't care about the Billboard 100. They got a family, work, bills, etc. Your only hope is to attract young people. Answer your emails. You can use cheap technology to create great music. There is a glut of music just on YouTube alone. Spotify gets thousands of new songs every day. There are probably a million musician channels on YouTube. Most music is now free. Make money on ticket sales to events and merchandise like t-shirts. Anybody can distribute on iTunes. Selling out is tailoring your artistic spirit to the market. If you want to make money in music, put your ego and self-respect in a jar and try to create a mainstream commercial hit. Tween and teen girls support cute young male musicians. Do you want to get rich? Create lovey-dovey cute songs. Christopher Cross was a chubby older guy who got rich singing love songs just like Barry White and Luther Vandross. There is a zeitgeist factor and a publicity factor. Before the internet, I used to see crappy songs played over and over again on MTV. They became hits. Young people want to be in the in crowd so much that they will buy into whatever they're being brainwashed with. Who sells to everyone? What would everyone dance to at a wedding party? YMCA by the Village People. When Outkast came out with their one hit, it was Unique Energy. The guy, Andre, had the X factor, but I never heard anything from them after that. Brian Wilson and other old-timers have said that the music has deteriorated. I've gone on YouTube listening to playlists of current hits looking for new music, but I always end up going back to older music before 1995. The way to make it in the music biz as a musician is to create magic in the music you write, sing, or play. How rare is this? How many great songs can you name? My music appreciation is primal. It's about what the music makes me feel when I hear it for the first time and succeeding times after that. Does it instill any powerful feelings within me, or is it just more of that generic pablum that's going across the mainstream airwaves all the time as a matter of marketing course? There are objective standards of musical beauty. If it's not hummable, it's not music. Does it have some melody or purity of sound to it? Does it take me away to some transcendent place? Does it move my emotions? Does it have great lyrics? Was there a lot of secondary mixing in the background to make it a truly extraordinary, sophisticated masterpiece? If you're a musician trying to make it in the music biz, you have no choice but to culture or create what the marketing heads call a brand or a platform. There are at least 10 million musicians on all the social media platforms, including MySpace, which has become a default spot for musicians who dream of being pop stars. I think Justin Bieber got famous because he was on the Canadian Christian show called 100 Huntley Street as a kid, which gave him enough following to get initial press and contacts. Taylor Swift started as country singer who was marketed to pop star fame. They can hype anybody up to be a cool, fascinating person. I remember the Brady Bunch episode when the guy wanted to make Greg a pop star. In the end, we discover the only reason he picked Greg is that he fit the suit that was created for the new pop star Johnny Bravo. The episode was called Adios, Johnny Bravo, 1973. In my day, Ed Sullivan would host the new acts and new songs weekly. Some were pure talent. Some was marketing garbage. The Birds and the Mamas and Papas each had a fresh new sound. Things catch on for no rhyme or reason sometimes. Billy Cyrus's Achy Breaky Heart is not really a great song. Alanis Morissette started out as a cute young bubbly female but then created a morose album about female problems and female empowerment, which was huge. I listened to the entire album. I did not save any of those songs. I remember we covered Janice Ian's song 17 in grade school about a young woman realizing life is meant for beauty queens, not for average people. I listened to Kurt Cobain of Pearl Jam. I couldn't relate to it. The formula for female pop stars is to look like a trailer trash porn star, act cool and liberated. How about Gangnam Style, a cool chubby Asian? How much of any song is pure beauty and greatness versus how much is hype? I remember in 1978. Even my friends who were rockers bought the Saturday Night Fever album. I remember one summer everybody heard of Huey Lewis and the News, then they come out with the Sports album and Do You Believe in Love? They were the hottest band around in 1984. We used to think Bon Jovi sucked as a glam rock band until they did Livin' on a Prayer, which could stand on its own without Image. The people in Arcade Fire are touted as cool avant-garde, alternative musicians. That's their brand. They're ordinary people playing music, but they have to create a mythology about themselves, an emotionally coded outer layer to look cool, new and cutting edge. The music industry trying to sell the idea of the cool, free-spirited, sometimes rebellious guy or chick that young people can identify with because they all want to be seen by others as cool happening people. Nothing has changed for tween and teen girls with their teen idols. I was listening to a CBC radio show about obsessions. Some girl comes on and says Shawn Mendes is her obsession, so I look the guy up to see some skinny kid being touted as a heartthrob. Disney is huge in marketing tween and teen pop idols. Nowadays it's not like the old days when your record collection in your apartment was supposed to be a conversation piece as to how cool you were because everything is on a computer tablet. I think it's 50-50 music and image. To me, Empire of the Sun has great music. The guy dresses up like the old Aborigine worshipping the sun with their dream time, but a lot of guys think the headdress and eye makeup is too much. He's respecting the old culture, but most people don't get it. The music is one thing. The image is another thing. Very rarely do you achieve great success with just one of the two. Some people would argue that ugly duckling Susan Boyle has no image. It's just her music that is selling her CDs, but the truth is that she was marketed as the ugly duckling come from nowhere, never been kissed, to be a big star. In case you haven't figured it out, one of the producers picked her as the underdog who was going to make it big. It was pre-planned, but they made it look spontaneous. The producers know that human stories sell. They need to create cool stories around upcoming musicians. We're looking for a piece of beauty in an otherwise maligned world. They're selling hope and emotion. Every musician has to be a business person. If you don't, you'll end up like all those musicians who were swindled by their managers. You're not just selling music. You're selling an image. If you're like the dude I know who sat in a basement and created music but had no social game, you have to sell yourself. It's competitive. You need CDs because you have to have something to hand out to prospective fans and music producers. Nowadays you can go straight to iTunes, Spotify, Amazon and YouTube, then work on promoting yourself. Put your music up. They sell it for about a 20% cut. Make your money playing live gigs. I noticed that Last.fm seems to be a big promotional community for musicians. People will download your music for free. That's the way it works. I used to use MP3 now I use 4QTBitMP3. I already got my massive music collection. They give you about 30 free downloads a day, which is still pretty good. If you download 30 songs for 7 days straight, you got 210 songs. The music industry is tough for several reasons. With at least 1 million musicians in the United States alone, about 100,000 professional or aspiring musicians, less than about 200 get the privilege to be played on the mainstream media and touted as stars. A few big companies control the music industry. They decide who gets marketed. Live theater covers not only plays but any type of live performing art like a magic show, circus show, freak theater, puppetry, mime, etc. If it could be a Vegas show, then it's live theater. Even live entertainment is skewed nowadays. The last time I watched a Got Talent TV show, some 10-year-old girl won, beating out seasoned adults with good acts because of the fickle public voting. They didn't want to hurt her feelings, I guess, but get real. 10-year-old singers who want to be pop stars are a dime a dozen. It's like, so what? I've seen it 10,000 times. My answer is do it because you love it, but almost everybody is a prostitute nowadays trying some gimmick because they want the big score. The only true artists are a few buskers, the actors in small live theater playhouses and the people on YouTube who create great videos without trying to be stars. If it's money you want, study a worthy profession that creates things that help people. Fame can't help you when you're by yourself in your head, which is most of the time. A jerk is a jerk is a jerk. It doesn't matter if others call them a star or celebrity. Entertainment is TV, radio, movies, live performing arts, comedy, dance, music, casinos, amusement parks, and all the jobs and professions behind the scenes, from lawyers to the people who hold microphones and lights up when making a movie. There's never job security. Once an album tour ends, you're unemployed and have to find or create next gig. The prize is that a few people at the top are paid very well. Everyone else works very hard for a moderate income. There is a saturation of music, so the value goes down. Look at the people on YouTube doing crazy things trying to earn a living making silly videos. The craving for music is endless, but the pay is a lot lower than it used to be because it's a lot cheaper to create videos, record songs, etc. Plus there is so much of it on YouTube for free. Through this book, I provide knowledge and information about all aspects of music geared to help musicians and people in the music business. Performing arts or entertainment is loosely categorized as acting and auditioning, animation, business aspects, busker/street or festival performer, casino, gaming, circus, comedy, dance, film, movies and video, individual director, monologues and scenes, music, puppets and puppetry, radio, screenplays, storytelling, television, theater. There is a website that still exists as I write this. evryonuhusanion.com. If it's gone at some point in the future, find it at archive.org. He's got lists of a lot of media in there that can help you in your quest for a job.